Quick and easy, I am using a bag of mixed frozen Asian vegetables. We have carrots, red peppers, broccoli, water chestnuts, green beans, mushrooms, you name it, it's in there. And I'm just going to stir those vegetables into the curry to warm them through. And at this point, the dish is pretty much done as soon as those vegetables are